know this ain't no 10-second race.
I got nothing but time.
You ready? Keep their lives and other lives in their own hands. Are doing it on uncontrolled circumstances. And the ramifications, both civilly and criminally, are very, very severe.
Yeah, and as we are going to look at tape right now, this is from May 17th accident where, of course, your client was injured in this and actually could have been killed.
Absolutely. He was T-boned going through an intersection at 16th and G by two cars racing, one driven by a drunk driver. The driver of the other car fled the scene, and hopefully he has a video about that as well, too. But my client's vehicle was pushed into a light pole. It was crushed right behind his head. He could have been killed, brain dead.
Yeah, and the reason why we're talking about this is because we're seeing the kids getting out of school, having more time in their hands, and people think, okay, I'm going to be okay. Maybe I'll get a speeding ticket. I'll get something like this. But as we're seeing right now, you're having a guy who fled the scene. You're having a guy who has a DUI and pretty much criminal, ramifications here.
Well, right. I mean, even just racing, there's a California Vehicle Code section called speed contest. Just by racing, even if nobody gets injured, you're talking about jail time, fines, losing your license. If you get convicted twice, you lose your car.
Yeah, and it's not the smartest thing to do. And of course, your client is, and that's one of the two guys that are involved with this, have legal bills, have, of course, hospital bills that are paying all this, right?
Well, right. Both the racers involved in my client's accident are going to be responsible for all my client's damages, including their medical bills, which are going to be probably a couple $100,000. And they're going to have to live with that the rest of their lives. There's no way they're going to be able to get out of it.
Yeah, and of course, we are talking street racing. And Lydia here from racelegal.com is letting us know, as I see the cars behind us, Lydia, as we bring you over here, it's safer to be on these streets right here at Qualcomm than it is to be on the real streets.
This is exactly where you want to be. This is exactly where you can get a feel for what cause and effect your car and how well you can control it and what your skill level really is.
Yeah, and we come back, we'll talk more about that because actually they have a race coming up on this Friday for you to be able to come down. We'll talk about what the clarifications and your requirements are for that. And of course, we'll talk more with the attorney here about the different legal stuff, and especially, again, how dangerous it could be out there, Dave and Alexis. With, of course, people street racing. Again, it's a movie. It's a video game. You are not trained to do that. And even if you are, you're not doing it out on public streets because, again, look, at someone's hurt and someone could have been killed.
You know, I have a feeling most people who do that, the street racing, they're not thinking about all the other people. They're just thinking about themselves. It's a kind of a selfish thing. So I think this is a great idea because some people are going to do it anyway.
Yeah, definitely out here. It's very safe.
Okay, Brad, thanks so much for that. We'll see you back there in a bit. 6:06 now. You can race safely. Brad, good morning.
Good morning. You said it right there, Alexis. A safe way to race. People watch, as I said before, the Fast and Furious movies. They play the Xbox games, and they think they can go on the regular streets and do this. But that's, of course, those movies and those games are controlled situations. And that's where racelegal.com comes into a controlled situation. Lydia, we're out here at Qualcomm, where you guys actually have sanctioned drag racing right here, safe, controlled, and of course, very important to keep those off the streets, the regular streets racing.
That's exactly right. So we have a safer environment that is still fun, and you can bring your daily driver down, you can bring your race car down, and just see what it can do and what you can do.
Yeah, and what's incredible about this is that you are starting to see more families come down here, especially with the young kids, to have them come down and drive in a safe area because, you know, they do want to see how fast the car goes. There are guidelines, of course, on the website about having the car down here.
We are looking for, we do a safety inspection, and we're looking basically for safety items. So that is all listed on our website if you want to look at particulars, but we look at the speed that you will run in 1/8 of a mile, and then that's how that is determined.
Yeah, and what's also important is that there's, of course, security down here. There's rescue teams down here. And again, it's in a controlled situation that is so important as we start to see these kids go on the street. You have a race coming up actually this Friday.
We do. We're racing this Friday here at Qualcomm Stadium from 6 to midnight, and you can race all night long for $30. So I think our record holder has about 65 runs in one night.
And of course, what you more see here is almost like a car show, because a lot of the cars behind me look like they race, but they're more out here showing off their cars, which is a great thing too, and so important. And of course, we come back, we'll talk with the attorney here, who is of course firsthand know about that accident that happened down in the gas lamp last week, David and Alexis. And the important thing is that he's saying is that, you know, it's not worth it. There's people hurt, there's bills, there's legal things going on, and again, it's not the safest place to do things. You know, the street is not where you race. This is where you do it right here. And $30 all night long. Take on whoever you want to take on racing here. So I was talking with Lydia, and she said, David, if we want to, you could bring out your Pinto, and I can bring out the Yugo, and go head-to-head if you want to.
Well, David says, okay. And I think this is great, Brad, because then people can get out of their system, so then they won't do it on our roadways.
Exactly. That's the important part right there.
Okay. Thank you for that, Brad. So, David, are you up for it?
I'll bring my Pinto. Castellucci can bring his Gremlin. We're set.
Okay. You guys are good to go.
All right. Let's get you some news this morning.